Hey everybody, my name is Matt Craven and thank you for joining me here. Thought to give you a little bit of information about my background. I am a TA professional with over 20 years of experience in various different industries and various different roles. One of the things that I've learned over the years is definitely recruiting is all about people. It is all about building relationship, engaging people, and ultimately getting them to be interested in your opportunity to accept a potential offer. But we have several different stakeholders in the process in TA. Some of those are HR leaders, our business leaders, and obviously our candidates. And we need to be able to show our leaders really how we are doing. And one of the things that we can do with our business leaders and HR VPs is show them how data can drive decisions. So data is critical, and it really will be something that will bring some credibility to you when you're working with your leaders in TA versus just talking about candidates and saying, this is the best I can do, this is what I have, and blah, blah, blah. And it's not necessarily anything in great detail. What data does, it really frames everything that you're doing. It gives you some really value, numerical value, empirical data that you can show them the basically the progress that you're making in your recruiting efforts, whether it's from a hiring standpoint, from a pipeline sourcing standpoint, or even from a market intelligence data standpoint. So with that, this series here is going to be really focused on pipeline sourcing. And really what I am going to be doing here is showing you how to bring some real live data to life by putting it into an Excel spreadsheet. Now, if you're an expert in Tableau or other software programs, you can do the same thing. But what I'm going to do, just because I know most people have access to Excel, that we'll start here. And then as we get further, if people want to learn how to utilize Tableau and other software programs, I can definitely share with you how to do those things as well. So before I get started, last week I conducted kind of an informal survey with recruiters across the globe. I had over 141 recruiters, sourcers, and TA leaders take a part of this survey from 7 different countries. And here are some of the highlights that didn't surprise me, is that 37% of all TA professionals felt that they were a beginner in Excel or any kind of recruiting tools. 18% of them declared themselves as experts and were able to really utilize the vast array of functions within Excel or other tools to get the data, manipulate the data to where they want to be able to share a story with their leaders. It doesn't surprise me at all, but it just shows that we have a lot of work to do, because in reality, maybe we're not all experts in Excel or in any kind of software, but we should be at an intermediate level, which is about 50% or 44% of those people that are actually utilizing tools and doing reporting. The second question that I had, and I asked a few questions, but these are the two highlight that I pulled out of here, is that 65% of TA professionals are using data to track their candidate pipeline. So think about that. You have a pipeline sourcing team, or you have recruiters that are pipelining, but only 65% of TA professionals are actually reporting on it. And this is something that can be very critical to the market intelligence, to things that you can share with the business leaders about the available talent out there that we are recruiting and sourcing for future openings as well. So think about that. And then what was even more surprising is that only 84% of all respondees said that they were reporting on hiring data points. So like time to hire, number of hires, and so on and stuff like that. So we have a lot of opportunity. And really, and you look at this data and the reporting, we should be in TA be close to 100% as a whole be reporting on this information, because what it will do is it will increase our credibility in TA and allow us to really elevate our profession beyond just recruiting people, but really using the data to derive decisions that the business makes when they are looking to open up requisition, expand their organization, and so on and such like that. So this series here is really going to talk to you a little bit about how we can create some dashboards and how you can use those dashboards to share with your leaders. And this will be regardless if you have an ATS, CRM, or you have nothing at all, because realistically, if you have an ATS or CRM, you can export this data out and export it into this kind of dashboard here, and it will automatically populate some of the fields here. And if you don't have anything at all, you can actually utilize one of the tracking documents that I have within this dashboard and start utilizing this so that it automatically populates in the format that you want to have it as well. Now, the example I'm going to be giving you over the next couple videos in the series here is something I've created, but you can utilize this and customize it to based on the data that you want to report. So don't think this is as an end-all be-all type of report. We can customize these and make it so that you can get the data that you want to share with your business leaders. So thanks for watching. And like I said, what I will be doing is really getting you familiar with Excel, getting you familiar with how to do pivot tables, and really organize your data so that you can share this with your. All right, so let's go get started. As you can see here on my screen, this is a sample dashboard that I've created just so that I can share with you some of the functions and the capabilities of what you can do in Excel. And what I've done here is, from a pipeline sourcing standpoint, it is important to show what you are doing from a recruiting, or if you have a pipeline sourcing team, where your talent is coming from, how much you're progressing as you're building that pipeline, and ultimately determining what the quality of that candidate is in your pipeline as well here. So I'm not going to go into every one of these here, but you can take a look and see that over here on the left, the talent pipeline growth by job category. You can show by the different categories of positions how your pipeline is going quarter by quarter. And this will allow your leadership team to see that, hey, you know what, you are building a pipeline, it is growing, and so on and such like that. And then you can also see, okay, you know what, we don't have a whole big pipeline for marketing, so we may need to grow that over the next quarter, so that way we can be ready when marketing opportunities come available. Over here, I think the other piece is really important, is quality of candidates submitted. So we'll get into how you get to this right here, because I know some people will have some questions on how do you get the quality of candidate, and what does that mean? But it's important, you know, in pipelining candidates. You can put a lot of candidates in your pipeline, and they're garbage. They're not people that you're ever going to want to hire. And so with this right here, it will show you the quality of candidates submitted to leaders, and that have been accepted by by those leaders for future opportunities here. So I would tell you, the baseline, as you start this, it may be low, but it will ultimately grow as you really understand the needs of your business. So you may have a baseline of, we want to make sure that 70% of our pipeline, we have a quality of our candidate pipeline of 70%, but then over a couple of years, you'll probably want to increase that closer to 90 to 95%. Some other things is that, you know, you can actually look at over here and say, this is where my pipeline is, in the sense of the type of companies and the names of the companies that we have people in the pipeline for. Again, this shows you, if you have direct competitors, whether you're in healthcare, finance, or wherever you're at, you can show, this is where my pipeline is. And then the leaders can say, hey, you know what, XYZ Corporation is a great organization that we have 1,300 people in that pipeline, but really, company ABC, we really should be close to that as well. And that'll allow you as a talent acquisition team to say, okay, you know, we need to put more of a focus on company ABC. Again, you got your source of candidates, so you can find out where your candidates are coming from. Hopefully in the pipeline sourcing, these are coming from direct source, but it'll allow you to be able to share where your candidate's coming from. So in this example here, 65% of your pipeline is coming directly from LinkedIn. I know some people are cringing at that, but let's just face it, everybody has a LinkedIn account, and a lot of people are using that. So with this, you could say, you know what, we need to expand our sourcing efforts through referrals, and see if we can get that, increase that, and reduce the amount of reliance on LinkedIn. And then you can also go by category. As we looked at our pipeline by company, we can look and see what our pipeline looks like by category. So we have a strong pipeline in engineering. We have a strong pipeline in sales. But you know what? In our marketing, we only have 292 people in our pipeline there. With status, again, these are statuses that you can determine for your organization to help you manage the funnel within your pipeline here. And again, it allows you, show you and your leaders where your talent is within the process of being qualified and engaged. Now, ultimately, it would be nice for everybody to have all your talent engaged 100%, but that's not realistic. I mean, there's a lot of people that you reach out to, you source, you research, and you find them, but all you've been able to do is reach out to them because they haven't been able to respond. So you want to track that. You can say, here in my full pipeline, there's about 1,300 people here that I've reached out to that have not responded yet. So as a pipeline sourcing team, as recruiters, we know that we need to keep going back to that list of 1,328 and be really going after them until we get a response to find out whether they are interested in our organization, or if they're not, and we can just keep them warm and ask them if they would like to have information on the things that we do in our organization, so that way when they are ready, they will know a little bit about us here. So this right here is, I think, very valuable in sharing with your leaders of where you have your candidates in the process here. And the nice thing about this as well is this is your full pipeline of all the different job categories. And you can actually filter this so that if you want to see what your pipeline status is for finance, you can filter it out and show your leaders what finance looks like, or your finance leaders what that looks like, and so on and such. Now, again, I think this is another huge piece here for our dashboard, is if you are an organization that has multiple locations and you want to be able to show where the talent is, this is a great map of where our pipeline is and show them where our engaged talent is, where the talent pools are. So that way, when we have an opening in Nevada and we see our pipeline in Nevada is only 63 and we're trying to get people in Arizona, we may say, you know what, it's going to be a challenge here. And maybe that was not a great example. Let's just say we need people in Nevada, but really our talent pool in California is 856. It may mean that we need to open up a position in California and have them cover the territory in Nevada, because there's just not enough talent in Nevada to be able to really find those people that you need to be hired there. Or we may need to do some additional things. Maybe we need to offer more money to the talent in Nevada to get them engaged or accepted, or give them other perks that will get them interested in our opportunities here. So this right here is great, and you can utilize this beyond just the United States. You can show your pipeline in various countries. You can show it globally, and this is something that I think will impress your executive leaders on sharing with them where your talent pools are, and then by the categories, so that way they visually know what we need to do and what we need to do to get that talent engaged in your opportunities within your organization. So here are just a few of the items that you can do to create a really robust dashboard. How do I get that information, and how do I make that dashboard actually work? And so what I do is I have my talent pipeline Excel spreadsheet here. Now, as I mentioned, regardless if you have an ATS, CRM, or you don't have anything and you're actually starting from scratch, you can take that data that you have in your CRM and ATS and actually export it into your talent pipeline here. Now, these categories on top here were meant to be as an example. So if you have an ATS or CRM and they have all these different categories that you want to add in there, very easy to do, and you can utilize those and then do the same thing and create those same dashboards that I have created as well. So don't get intimidated thinking that it doesn't match up or line up with this here at all, because you can take your data and do the same exact thing. Now, the other thing is if you don't have an ATS or CRM, you can go ahead and actually just take this worksheet here and add the information in line by line. You can also, and I will share with you how to do this in a later session, how to create a kind of a form that you can use, that you can enter the information and it will automatically add into your pipeline, so that you don't have to go across the whole board here to add the information in. So we could do it one or the other way, whatever is easier for you, and I'll show you both ways, so that way you have access and the ability to create the tool that's going to be most useful and productive for you here. So with this, again, you want to have all this information, and it's a lot of data, and some people that are pipelining may feel that is over too much, but it's important because the more data you have in here in your talent pipeline, the more you know about your talent that you're entering in here, and you have the access to contact them, you know where they're located, what type of role they are, and so on and stuff like that. So when we get to the part of building this here, just note that more is better. Even if you don't use it all in your dashboard, you're going to utilize it at some point in time when you're reaching out to the candidates and sourcing them and so on and stuff like that. So it's not all about just the data. It's actually about how you're going to use this once you put the information in here. So with this, all this information here is going to really drive this dashboard. So accuracy is important, and data is critical here. So what I will be doing over the next couple of sessions is really going over how do you first create this, then what are the steps that you need to take in order to create a sample dashboard like this. So stay tuned. Tomorrow you'll have a new recording with some tips on how to create pivot tables and how to take that data and organize it so that you can get some organized data. And then the third session we'll cover is how do you take that data from the pivot tables and create charts and graphs like this and a dashboard so that you can share and share with your business leaders within your organization. So thanks for watching, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.